Hi guys, I'm going to show you how to develop a formula for length of line segment, which we did earlier with some real numbers. A general formula means it doesn't actually have any real numbers, it just works in terms of unknowns. So say we have 2 points like this. Look, they could be any 2 points on any graph. The first thing we want to do is call 1.1 and 1.2. So let's call this point 1, and we'll call this point 2 here. One of the first questions I always get asked is, how do you know which one to make point 1 and which one to make point 2? It actually doesn't matter which one it is. When you calculate it out, in the end it all works out the same, so it doesn't matter which one's which. Okay, so using point 1 and point 2, we give these points here at the end of each of these lines. This is the x coordinate of point 2 and the y coordinate of point 2. This will be the x coordinate of point 1 and the y coordinate of point 2. Okay, so you've got coordinate pairs. Okay, so the next thing, if you remember when we did this one, is we took away to get the length of this line here. Okay, so sorry, we're working out the distance of that. Okay, and the way we did that. Okay, so we're going to work out the distance of, or the length of this line here. And if you remember correctly, if we went up to the other one, what we did was our y coordinate, so y2, and then we took away the y, whoops, made a mistake there. That should be y1, sorry about that, y1, okay, because that should be y1 there. Okay, so the y coordinate of that second point, take away the y coordinate of the first point. Now, the bottom line here, we worked out that by doing x2, so x2 here, minus x1. Okay, they're the distances of those two lines. Okay, so let's call this length of this yellow line here d. Okay, now putting that into, and this is going to be, it's quite a complex formula. It looks complex. It's just Pythagoras' theorem using points. Okay, so in this case, d is the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is equal to y2 minus y1. Okay, that's the distance of that line, the length of that line, squared, plus the length of that line, also squared. Okay, so we haven't got any points, so we don't know what we can call, we don't have values for any of these things. Okay, but this is called our general formula for length of line segment. Maybe I'll do an example to show you how to use this. You may also see it written with d on its own. To do that, you have to take the square root of both sides, like we did up here for this example with numbers. So you might also see it written like this. So all this gets square rooted. Okay, and you have this it's not a nice looking formula, I'll say that, but that'll give you the distance between 2 points. Okay, an example of how to use this formula in practice. The question is, calculate the length of a line segment between the points 1, 3 and 3, 7. We've got no sketch here to guide us. All the numbers are positive, which is going to make it a little bit easier to work with. Negative make it a little bit harder, but I'll go through an easy one to start with. So the first thing you do is you're going to nominate your number 1 and your number 2 points. So we'll call this x1, y1, and we'll call this x2, y2. Okay, so writing that out, you get x1 is equal to 1, y1 is equal to 3, x2 is equal to 3, and y2 is going to be equal to 7. Okay, so I've just written down what all those 4 points are. Okay, so we've nominated we've got all our variables here. Okay, so it looks like a lot of variables. Okay, so this is point 1, whoops, and point 2. Yeah, so we're going to stick this into our formula now. So this formula over here, okay, needs all these numbers. D is what we're trying to find out. Okay, and we're going to do the square root and we're going to plug all these numbers in. Okay, so first thing we do is y2 minus y1 in brackets. So y2 is 7, y1 is 3, and that all gets squared. We're going to add x2, so x2 is 3, and x1 is 1. Okay, I'm getting these numbers from these 4 numbers that I just decided on before. Okay, so all that gets square rooted. You have to work out these. There's about 3 different steps you need to do. So you go in order of your BODMAS rules, order of operations, so brackets, powers, and then all of it gets square rooted. So 7 minus 3 is 4. That gets squared, and we're going to add 3 minus 1, which is 2, and that gets squared too. Alright, so that's my first step, and all that's square rooted. 4 squared is 16, and 2 squared is 4. Okay, so that's all going to be equal to 20. Okay, so the distance is going to be the square root of 20. The square root, just doing this in my head, the square root is going to be more than 4. It's about 4.5, I think, something like that. You'll often have to work this out to 2 decimal places. Okay, you'll need to do that in your calculator. Okay, but that is how you use that distance formula to work out the distance of a line segment.